Lakers already made a monster trade, as you mentioned, acquiring Russell Westbrook. Bill, who's a name you're hearing that the Lakers are targeting in free agency?
I mean, look, they're going to nibble around the edges of some of the guys that'll make less money. They need some shooting. Patty Mills, you're going to hear some of those names. A name that a couple sources floated to me, Akeem, and it's a name the Lakers are going to pursue. He would have to take less money. They don't think it's, by no stretch do they think it's a likelihood, but they think it's possible to at least have a conversation with DeMar DeRozan about coming back to LA, the Los Angeles Lakers, taking less money, settling for probably what would be half of what he can get on the open market. If he wants to be a member of the Mavs, if he wants to be a member of the Knicks, he's going to make, I don't know, $13 to $17 million a year. But there's a sense in that Lakers organization they might be able to convince DeMar DeRozan to come to Los Angeles, play with LeBron and AD, be part of a championship contender, be home. LA's not a bad place to live, especially if you got the money DeMar DeRozan would have. So that's not a guarantee by any stretch. He's worth more in the open market than the Lakers can pay. But I can tell you, Lakers sources have told me they think it's at least in the realm of possibilities, and that's something they want to explore.
He's Lils Moody, Marty, mad at me up there. I don't love this for the Lakers. I would rather, so I'm looking at an alternative where I could have Dennis Schroeder re-signed, Buddy Hield, keep KCP, maybe keep my pick. I'm probably doing that instead of Russ because it helps my depth and the shooting problems are going to be real. But look, the fact is we can talk about shooting and spacing and who's going to take the last shot and all this. These guys are three great players, and talent and smarts and just all-out ferocity can sometimes make up for not so great spacing. And the West does not have an overwhelming favorite anymore that you look at and say, you know, that's a team that's unbeatable. You know, Kawhi's injured, Jamal Murray's injured. So it's right there for the taking. They can still do it, but I don't love the fit. I would rather like that other fit with more shooting because here's one of the great axioms of LeBron's career. If LeBron is the best shooter on the floor, you haven't done a good enough job building around LeBron. Now, they'll get shooters. They'll probably bring back some of their own free agents, but the shooting is going to reach a critical level, and in the half court, this team's going to have to prove that it can score. But like Perk is going to say, Russ is a great player. They're going to figure a lot of it out. And to me, the question is not just the spacing, because the Lakers have played in bad spacing before. It's the volume of shots Russ takes and the volume of bad long twos he takes. Is he really going to commit to playing off the ball? Is he really going to set screens and cut and all that and not just stand around the three-point arc? Because we've heard that song before and we haven't seen it play out in real time. The Lakers are going to be great either way because LeBron and AD are great. I just like that first iteration with Hield, Schroeder, KCP, etc. a little bit better than this one.
Well, can we take a moment right now and recognize Zach Lowe with the new haircut, the new look? I see you, Zach Lowe, with the little bootsy fade.
First thing RJ said to him also.
He got the little bootsy fade on himself, looking real fresh right now. I just want to acknowledge you to that point first, Zach. But look, listen, let me say this to you, okay? First of all, you might as well change the name, right? They're the Los Angeles Jeffersons, okay, because they're moving on up. Look, adding Russell Westbrook was huge, and that makes them the favorite to come out of the Western Conference. And in my eyes, that makes them the favorite to win the title. We keep talking about Russell Westbrook and his shot making or shot taking thing that we just keep painting this narrative about him. But he's led the league in assists 3 times throughout his career. He led the league in assists last year when he was playing with a whole bunch of G League guys. One thing that we do notice that Russell Westbrook hasn't played with a big like Anthony Davis. And if Anthony Davis can commit to playing the center position and him and Russell Westbrook is in a pick and roll, you better watch the hell out because you don't know how to stop it. Secondly, right, who did they just hire? One of our good friends, Fizdale. What did Fizdale coach LeBron at? With the Miami Heat. And who's with the Miami Heat? D. Wade and LeBron James. Are they both shooters? No. Actually, D. Wade shot like 33% from the three-point line. But they found ways to figure it out by cutting, by going to the mid-post area, by going on the low block, deep seals, things to that nature. You can surround them with shooting. Guys like J.J. Redick is going to be up in free agency. I'm pretty sure he'll take a call from LeBron James saying, hey, J.J., we need you. Sure, Bron, I'm on my way. I'm trying to win my championship. Don't you think, Zach Lowe? And you try to find a way to get rid of Dennis Schroeder, bring back some assets, right? Sign and trade. I don't know what the market value is. That's not my department. But I will say this, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, watch the hell out.
Zach, what do you think? I think Perk just suggested we get Mike Miller out of retirement, but I'm not sure. What do you think about the Lakers' ability to add some shooting?
Well, first of all, they better bring back all their outgoing free agents like Alex Caruso and Taylor Horton-Tucker, both of whom are going to have a lot of competition for their services. Yeah, Perk is right. They'll get some shooters to come in the minimum, but who? Some of these wings like Reggie Bullock, Alec Burks, they're going to be out of the Lakers' price range. The Lakers have no money to offer. Minimums and the tax mid-level, that's it. It might be a guy like JJ who's at the end of his career and wants a ring, but look, JJ Redick's coming off a pretty uneven season. He's got to prove that he can compete defensively at the highest level if he's going to be on the floor during the finals. The Lakers are going to be fine. All I'm saying is if I'm presented with those two scenarios, I'm taking the one with Buddy and Dennis just by a little bit over this one, but they're going to be exciting to watch, that's for sure.
And clearly, LeBron and AD want to play with Russ. I mean, that's certainly what the reporting is, so that's got to be a factor as well. I will say the same thing for the Lakers that we said about the Raptors earlier in the show. I don't think they're done yet, so let's see how things pan out over the next week. Free agency on Monday never stops in this league. Coming up, we're going to dig more. Jump. There are a million things to love about the NBA, but one of them is that you wake up every single day knowing it's possible that by the time you go to bed, something completely shocking will have happened. Sometimes it's something merely bizarre, like, I don't know, a player throwing a bowl of soup at one of his coaches. But sometimes it is more consequential, like what happened before yesterday's draft. Shout out Swish, by the way. With the eyes of the entire league focused on Cade Cunningham and crew, the Lakers dive-bombed in with a jaw-dropper. Russell Westbrook is coming to town to join LeBron James and Anthony Davis. The deal sent Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and last night's number 22 pick to the Wizards, who immediately turned it around for a separate trade. And all of that is interesting, and we're going to unpack all the details in a minute. But also, let me repeat. Russell Westbrook is joining LeBron and AD on the Lakers, an alliance that the LA Times reports was forged 2 weeks ago in a secret meeting between the three superstars at LeBron's house. According to longtime Lakers beat writer Broderick Turner, Russ told LeBron and AD in that meeting he is okay playing off the ball to allow LeBron to initiate the offense, just as he did in Houston with James Harden. And in return, LeBron and AD volunteered to shift positions if that's what turned out to be best for the team. James moving to power forward, Davis playing more often at center. It's an interesting peek into how the Lakers plan to adjust now that they have acquired one of the most unusual talents in the game. A relentlessly competitive triple-double machine, a leader off and on the court who is motivated to play well at home, but who is also playing on his fourth team in 4 seasons, in part due to his shooting issues. That last part seems of particular concern for the Lakers, who finished this past season ranked 25th in the league in three-pointers made per game. In fact, LA's lack of shooting was such an issue that when earlier in the day yesterday, the Lakers seemed to instead be working on a deal to acquire Buddy Hield from Sacramento, that was hailed as a smart move. After all, only Steph Curry sank more three-pointers last season than Hield. The floor space he opens up is significant, or well, it would have been for LA. Instead, the Lakers chose to close the deal for Westbrook, which also prompted immediate questions about Bradley Beal's future in D.C. If Russ was jumping ship, was Beal next? Wizards GM Tommy Shepard has said absolutely not. And if you look closely at this trade, you certainly can see the threads with which Shepard intends to sew together a roster tailored around Beal. KCP is one of Brad's closer friends in the league. The trade also gave the Wizards more depth and the kind of cap flexibility that frankly seemed impossible just a year ago when Washington was facing 3 more years of John Wall's Supermax. Now, whether the plan works well enough to make Beal want to stay remains to be seen, as does whether the Russell Westbrook experiment works for the Lakers. All I know for sure is it was an absolute shocker, or as we call it in the NBA, just another day. Now to discuss, we got DeMar DeRozan here. Sorry, I got different information. The control room's giving me different information here, but DeMar DeRozan apparently unhappy, I believe, from the cloud emoji and the poop emoji about his rating in the ESPN rank, which is usually, I don't have the copy in front of me, but usually the way ESPN rank works is they have a group of experts projecting how they see a player to do in the upcoming season. He was frustrated about being ranked 82nd. What do y'all think of that, Amin?
Rachel, you remember in Beverly Hills Cop, they said we're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe? Guess what? DeMar DeRozan, you just fell for the banana in the tailpipe. This is just content creation. Nobody believes in this stuff. Nobody cares. The only people who seem to care are players. I don't know why. Why do they care every year, Janae?
Because that's our pride. We want to see ourselves move up the ranks. But this was atrocious. This was blasphemy. And I would like to tell DeMar DeRozan right now, that wasn't me. I didn't do that. I'm pretty sure none of us did it on the jump.
Hey, wasn't me either.
And I wouldn't volunteer myself for that. But realistically, DeMar deserves some respect put on his name. And I think last year he was like 22 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He had a career year when it came to field goal percentage. So he is doing what he can to improve himself and make himself an asset, especially after leaving Toronto and now with San Antonio. But it's been really impressive to see him grow and mature and also stay on point when it was a tough scenario for him. So he deserves all of the love he's getting because that was a lot of slanderous on the rankings roster.
Let's move on then to the Lakers. As I was saying, Frank Vogel says it is probably unlikely Anthony Davis and LeBron James will be available for the Lakers preseason opener 1 week from today. I mean, should AD or LeBron play even a second of a preseason game?
Yeah, maybe the last one, maybe one, two of them, not obviously spaced out, just a little bit, get the juices flowing, just remember what it's like to go up and down the court. Nothing too serious.
No, I can't go with that. I'm thinking that, they don't play any at all. 2 seconds, 3 seconds.